Nesim Omaza kabanga we nawe panka Nakusanga na yeranga we mima Gaka message okalaba no katikinga Kasoma atebo kamala no deletinga Manze nkanya kunyweza kakodyo kange butagwamu Babulirwe mmanya ntoje nyongeramu n'aka perfume olwo ne kumitinga kubuzaako ne sekwewanyo nga naye nzera amanyi nti oli mu kuboja babulirwe mbeera nkulaba nga nze gwolojja kubanga bakuza tebakuzakuza era newe wekoza Zola nonya kuberiyo binji byenterese nonya mula obuliruji yakuluwombo atesholye kuji vakumulyango epewe itiride oli kubwongo bwange wetulide naye saba kubuzamu kasukali keko batongelemu Otera okubibyamu oba gwoyagala kuwummulamu yotera okunywanywamo netaka gilasi tosema ze kubamadde manyi nti oli mu kuboja nkugambye ebyange bategeka babisenja kubanga bakuza tebakuzakuza era newe wekoza nze mama yakuza Products. Nesim
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Thank you for joining us. My name is Nai Mulira. I am the host for Ugandan Millennials Worldwide. Thank you for joining us on our second show. We have a great show ahead. We're so excited. I hope you are just as excited as we are. And on my right, we have...
my name is Dr. Kalemera Ndamba. I'm the president of Ugandan Millennials Worldwide, and I'm currently practicing as a physical therapist for United Home Care Services.
And my name is Diana Nalubega. I'm the vice president of Ugandan Millennials Worldwide, and I'm also a social worker, human service major.
We're here to unite, inspire, and empower one another, and I hope you're excited for the show ahead. Our topic for the show is love for our African heritage. Love for being Ugandan, love for being in the diaspora, our culture, our language, and so on. It's going to be a great show. Obviously, we only have an hour, and it's such a broad topic to discuss that we can't do justice to it. But this is going to be the beginning of many shows ahead on this topic. So every Valentine's, every Black History Month, we'll be here tackling away one issue or the other. So to get a little bit information regarding us, Diana will give you a quick overview of Ugandan Millennials Worldwide.
So Ugandan Millennials Worldwide is a non-profit organization that focuses on empowering youth and inspiring them to be the best that they can be in the communities wherever they are. It could be back home, it could be here. We're currently focusing on the challenges our generation faces, as we know that every generation has its own challenges and its own mark. So we are focusing on empowering fellow youth to be strengthened, to influence others by sharing their talents. That's who we are.
And just for reference, we're based out of Boston, Massachusetts, and we do have some members in Uganda and hopefully a new member joining us from Asia. So we are worldwide and we're growing, and we do hope that you can join us. We do have a Facebook page. Again, my name is Nai Mulira.
This is Dr. Kennedy Ndamba.
And Diana Naluvega.
Look us up on Facebook. Join Ugandan Millennials on Facebook. Like our page. Interact with us. Ask us questions. Any advice, please. We'd like to hear from you. We're just here to just love one another, inspire one another, unite one another. All right. So in spirit, in the U.S., this is Black History Month, and it's also, we just finished Valentine's Day. You know, love is in the air. So, in spirit of that, Dr. Kennedy is going to give us a quick overview on our appreciation for our people, our businesses that have inspired and empowered our communities.
Okay. First, I want to give thanks to the people who paved the way for us to be able to live freely in this great nation. People like Dr. Martin Luther King, people like President Barack Obama, individuals to bring it back home, such as Bobby Wine, who continuously fights for the freedom of the youth and who wants to see a better Uganda. So I want to thank those individuals, but also I want to thank the bigger platforms like the Ugandan churches, the African churches that have built a community and have empowered, united, and inspired the members of the community to be better servants of our Lord. I also want to thank platforms such as this one, Diaspora TV, for giving us this opportunity to be able to reach out to you and talk to you and kind of tackle some challenges that we might face together in this great nation.
And share love.
And share love, of course. Other platforms that I want to give thanks to, the Africans in diaspora, Africans in Boston, not Africans in diaspora. Africans in Boston is a larger community that's bringing all the African countries together and trying to unite them for greater good. So I want to give a shout out for them. They're doing such an amazing work. I want to thank our local restaurants such as Karibu, Kuweza Small Restaurant. I'm sorry if I mispronounced them. I want to thank our local shops like 7 Stars, where I get my haircut done. I want to thank Kampala Saloon, Radio Uganda, Power of Africa, Sister Saloon, Rhino Ranch, Rendezvous,
Where the dancing happens.
Africano. So I wanted to thank all those platforms, and the other platforms that they mentioned. We also thank you for your work that you continuously do for our community.
Yeah. So we thank you, and we are looking up to these businesses. We're looking up to these people. Some big shoes to fill, you know. and we're here. We just want to empower one another, inspire one another, and this is the platform. So if you do feel anything like your soul jumps, join us, because this is it. Like we are here to inspire one another. Again, I can't even stress that enough. So just to get a little bit going into our show, we're going to talk about, since we're based in Boston, what does it mean to be an African in the diaspora? Better yet, a Ugandan in Boston. You know, what does it mean? What does it mean, guys? And ladies.
Ladies, thank you. I almost thought I was a man. But I would say that for me, what it means to be an African in diaspora, it means hard work. Because you come here with nothing and you have to work so hard to be able to raise and to be able to be raised to societal standards. You have to work hard to go to school. You have to work hard to transition to the society itself, because the cultures are completely different. So either way, it's hard work, emotionally, mentally, physically. So that's hard work. The other thing, what it means to be an African or Ugandan in diaspora, I would say self-pride, because I think that we have no choice but to be proud of who we are. And we later we get to realize that when you go to, well, our first instinct, well, I would say from personal experience, like my first instinct was, oh, try to be American, accent changing, dress American, you know, all those things that we go through as we transition. But then we get to realize we can never really be fully American, and we have to embrace who we are. And we after you accept who you are, then doors open for you. Like professionally, you're able to share your background, and people have never seen where you come from before. Yeah, so I think that self-love for us here. So.
Yeah, I think you definitely touched on most of the points I would have said. With being an African in the diaspora.
Don't piggy bank.
No, okay, I won't piggyback, but to me it's definitely to add on to your points, is you're coming from back home, totally different setting, different environment. Then you put into this new environment, and they're like, here, survive, and you really need to fight to survive. To be here, to make a name for yourself, to make something of yourself, but also it's not only that, because I use my mom for example. She came here, she worked hard, she brought us, but then she didn't stop there. She brought us, but she was also sending school fees to many kids back home. She was sending money for someone who's sick back home. So being an African in diaspora, you're here for yourself, but you're also here for our members back home. So I think that we have a huge responsibility being here.
On that note, twebaze banange baba mama. Ba mama bakola emirimu, banange ba mama tubebaza.
Yes.
Ne batata. Just it's a eco it's a eco world. Ne batata banange tubebaza emirimu je mukola,
Daddies and mummies all together.
You're making changes, you're giving your children a future. We're here, we're learning, and that's because of the love of our parents, and we just have to keep the love going of our culture and just keep fighting the fight. So, with that, we've also struggled in our own workforce. Nebatata, the workforce in the U.S. is definitely, it can be a challenge, especially being black. Or later on even African or Ugandan, if you drill down a little bit. What advice would you guys give to someone trying to pave their way into the workforce? What has worked for you guys? How have you guys found yourself embracing being Ugandan in the workforce, and has it worked for you guys?
I think that I can kind of give an shout out for our next show, which is going to be a college panel. I think we definitely you have to get an education, before you enter into the workforce. The education, whether it's getting your GED, whether it's getting your actual college education or university or high school education,
certificates,
whatever it is, certificates, that's something. There's so many opportunities here that if you think or interested in it, you can find a way to achieve it here. That's the great thing about being in America, is that there's so many opportunities. But also in the workplace, to kind of bring it into the workplace, you have to be yourself, you know, like Diana said, you know, you come here and then you're like, okay, let me act American. And then you realize, okay, I'm not really getting accepted as an American, so
exactly.
let me go back to myself, who I am. Let me bring my diversity. Let me bring my uniqueness.
Exactly.
And, you know, so you have to be yourself, and, you know, because that's what God created you to be, is to be yourself. So,
yeah. I mean, I'll give the perfect scenario of mine. Bakumuli, in my, you know, I work for a software company, and you know, because I'm like, this is a delicacy in my country, you know. You know, so everyone is loving that culture. Why shouldn't we? We should embrace being Ugandan, embrace who we are. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing to know your heritage, to know where you come from, and it's, I would say, just be yourself, you know. And if it's hard, call us. We'll talk to you, you know. Join us. We'll empower you. We'll cry with you, and find solutions for the workforce. Of course, you know.
Yeah, I think that also to add on to that, like, I feel like it's also a journey. Like it's not something you're gonna go into and be like, yeah, I'm here. Let me be me. I think it's a journey. I think that you go in there and it's a learning experience. So you go in there ready to work hard, but the reality is you have to work twice as hard. Yes. That's the reality of it.
Yep.
More than 10 times as hard.
More than 10 times as hard. Thank you. Exactly. So I think that you accepting that and loving yourself and not blaming or shaming and just being who you are and accept the journey. Like, it's a growth act. I'm still growing in my professional life, so.
Same here. Every day is a struggle, you know. It's a learning curve, and that's why, you know, we talk to one another about the workforces, and we bounce frustrations, we bounce joys, wins, and, you know, the more we talk about these frustrations from your workforce, the easier it can get, you know. Kwanga, Sigoeka, who's going through it. We're all going through it. We're all here. Exactly. You know, we've all left our beautiful Uganda. We're out in the world just trying to make an honest buck and, you know, trying to live life. So we would love to hear your ideas, you know, what has worked for you. Share them so we can share with someone else, you know, pay it forward.
Yeah, and to quickly add on to that, don't be afraid to reach out for help. Don't be, because I feel like sometimes as individuals or as people, we're afraid of, you know, looking for help from someone else. But, you know, just pick up the phone, reach out to someone who they might not have the information you're looking for, but they might know someone who has the information you're trying to find. So don't be afraid to pick up the phone, call someone, ask them, you know, what it is you're trying to achieve, you know, or what it is you're looking for answers for. So. Yeah. And actually, one more thing that I just remembered, that the other thing is that you when you are yourself, you are contributing to, like, for example, I'll give an example at work. Like, I am a social worker, I'm a clinician, going to family therapy, right? But the strength I bring in my professional setting is families that are immigrant families. Because most social workers are like a different race. Most of them are not really African social workers. Yeah, they're African Americans, but immigrant social workers are not as many. So, and then you sit into the meetings, and then you realize that the culture is, like, for example, our culture back home is more quiet. Being silenced, being reserved is a strength, or is golden back home. And then when you come here, the culture is you have to speak up. You have to make eye contact.
You have to make eye contact. You have to open up and speak to people. So when they meet with these families, they'll be like, oh, this family is so reserved. It's not opening up and telling us what they need. But me bringing that cultural aspect and say it's not because they don't want to, but it's their cultural background and the way they were raised. And then they get to understand them from their cultural aspect. So as an immigrant, at least I contribute that at work. So.
Yeah. With that, you know, we did say education was important for obviously anything, whether it's a certificate, whether it's an undergrad, it's a master's, whatever kind of education that you need to get, you know, for whatever job you do desire. It's important. But then we go into the whole school in US and school in Uganda. Nze bannange nava Uganda inoba what P5 So my last memories of Gayaza Junior, boarding school, long hours, and then come to the US. I went to a Catholic middle school, high school, and then college here. And honestly, it's almost like it's very different. It's a breeze, you know. The hours are not as long. You have more options to help you with your testing and studying. But I will say one of the challenges I had, I don't know about you guys, but was, you know, fitting in, you know, ojaneka accent ko, oja na malalago, or your greenness, you know, and just finding your way in to Nabazungu is definitely, I will say, one of the struggles or one of the challenges I had to face, because I will say I was bullied when I was in school, even bullied by the African Americans. But in that bullying, I found strength, you know. I found strength in knowing my culture, and I struggled with that, you know. After college, I've found strength in being a Ugandan, being okay with my accent, you know, and I've made it through, you know. If you just honestly just close your eyes and know what your goal is, the rest is history. That's my advice. I don't know how you guys feel about school and what's your take on it. You guys?
I would say that for school, the experience I had, well, I came here after my high school graduation. So I did not experience going to college back home. So I came here, and we know high school and college, completely different things. But one of the challenges that I faced going to college here was the fact that there was already these stereotypes. You're not good enough. And sometimes you sit in the class and the teacher is probably looking at you like, oh, she probably doesn't know what she's going to do because of your skin color. And the culture here is that abadugavu petuna chetumai. So I mean that's the honest truth. Like, and you have to work so hard to prove you know something or you know a lot. And I think that was one of the challenges, and I got through it because when I got to write my papers, because my major was mainly writing, I was good at writing. And I remember one day my teacher looked at me and she's like, how come you write more than people who are born here? And I'm like, well, English is my first language, my second language, but we were trained how to speak English, which is another thing too. Like, they tend to think that just because you're an immigrant, you don't know English.
Yes.
Okay. So and they ask you whether you can speak English, and you're like, and it's a shock when you tell them, yeah, I do speak English. It's Britain, well, colonized by Britain, but it is the same. And they get shocked when they see that we can write and even be greater than some of them are.
I must say, it can almost feel like an insult, you know, because I remember one of the things that still stays with me is this little boy asking me, and I was like, man, senga mbade nchali kampana kakubye molo yina ye munange siri kutakali yange siri kutakali atata wange. So you know, but like I said, it's, you know, you just have to forgive them, you know. Bambi, they're ignorance to jite lack of awareness, yes. You know, balabanyo TV. And the TV doesn't really portray our beautiful country.
That's true.
You know, that we are actually, Africa is growing. It has so much to offer. It has really amazing schools with really high standard of education, you know.
And actually, to a little bit of that, like, our education back home prepares us to actually excel here.
Yes,
like people baliwakaba undermining like education back home. I remember now having a conversation with one of my friends, and I was like, oh, when I have my kids, I'll bring them to experience education at home. Oh my God, what? Uganda. I was like, these people have no idea. The education ewaka a little more vigorous because you read more, you study the whole book. Never quite just a chibuzo chitabu chiramba. ojja wano bakuspoon feeding soma chapter 1 bakuwe ebibuzo mu chapter 1 soma chapter 2 bakuwe ebibuzo mu chapter 2
Yeah.
you know, so abali ewaka, like education back home, just know that it prepares you to excel. Come here, work hard, but the education is fine.
I guess from my personal experience, talking about language, when I came here, nali oluzungu silumanyi bulungi nnyo. So oluzungu lwange lwatandika from scratch, because most of the time in school, the way I used to communicate, and I got bullied for this. Kids used to ask me questions, and I either nodded my head for yes and my head for no. So that's how I used to communicate, nodding yes or nodding no. And most of the time, kids, used to take advantage of that. They used to bully me because of that. They used to ask me all these crazy questions about Africa, if I ran here, or if I swam across the Red Sea, or if I could even swim. If I lived with lions, zebras, were they in a part of my house, or, So like there was some crazy questions, in school, and those are the challenges I kind of faced. But the language, I made it a mission that I'm gonna master the English language. Whereby in college, I majored in public and professional writing as my double major. I did that, but I was also a tutor, and it was ironic, someone who didn't know English at all to be tutoring the born, English speaking students. So it was kind of ironic, but definitely the school in Uganda, because kids at school used to be crazy, be like when school got out, they got so excited. I was disappointed school got out. I was disappointed we are getting holidays after holidays. I'm like, I'm here to learn. I want to learn, because back home, school, you go in school, and if you did bad, you got beaten. Bakubangengolo, emigo. Well, they're not doing none of that. So I felt like it was more easier, and it was more interesting. So
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, okuja like school in Uganda, chemba ndowooza nti the only thing chemba preparing excelling wano, but I feel like education in Uganda is not preparing people to excel back home. And I feel like,
you know why?
And I feel like they should one of the things that I'm thinking is that I wish they had more specificity, like they should specify things and have more technical skills, like more technical schools to like to build like, so they build you from ground up. Like that's one thing we've learned from America, like it's more specific.
Yeah.
And it's also based on the culture. Naturally Uganda, to some Western history, to some colonialism is fine because it's part of our history. Now what about history of faith? Bakabaka Fae, Bantu, like we touch on them, but we don't
go in depth.
We don't go in depth, but we don't focus on Ugandan history, African history, to focusing on Western history. Yeah.
The 2 points I was gonna make, I was never did just Uganda recently. Now, the most popular schools in Uganda, Gegeweru. So any schools that are Western schools, those are more popular, and most kids go to those schools. And I was speaking to my aunt, because I was staying with my aunt, and she said she was in a way regretting. She's like, I wish I kept my kids in more of the Ugandan schools than the Western schools, because the kids now, they are copying the Western ways of living. They're not being respectful. They're not as disciplined. The discipline they were learning in the Ugandan schools, they're moving away from that. Now they're trying to, listen to rap, act like the Western kids act, so they're moving away from those traditional values that I guess we kind of learned in school.
So we can be here all night discussing this. I have so much to input. Obviously, as you know, we're in Boston, Ugandan Millennials Worldwide here, based out of Boston. And we're going to take a quick break. So please stay tuned. Don't go away. We definitely want to hear from you. I hope you can send us some questions, reach out to us, and let's interact, please. All right, see you in a few minutes. Thanks. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you missed us because we missed you guys. Once again, for anyone who's just joining us, this is Ugandan Millennials Worldwide, and our topic today is love for our heritage. Kale banange, tudda mu Luganda luzungu, you know? Problems of being in the diaspora. We left off talking about school and the workforce, and I think Kennedy and I did touch on being bullied, and this is a real issue for being black, first of all, and being African American or being African in general. Kubanga, even katugambe, to be quite honest, banange, even nabadugavu, tebatwagaliza, you know. So it's really a struggle here, and for anyone who's going through it, you know, just know that you're not alone. And I would say that, you know, it's a really touchy subject, you know, because it's like tuvu demunsi yafe, and we came to problems already at one, you know. So it's like, how do you tackle it when you come for different agendas, and then never nabali one, they also have their own agenda. So with that being said, my question is, how do you guys deal with racism or prejudice or being profiled, you know? Because one of the biggest fears right now is a black man being shot. You know, we have brothers, we have uncles, we have fathers. Any of them right now can be profiled and go moduga for wawa no masasi, you know, and for no, you know, for no reason or for a reason, who knows, you know? And it's real. You know, it's real to our hearts, because I'm sure all three of us here do have friends, male friends, you know, brothers, fathers, cousins, uncles, you know, and I know the mothers, but mama, abama bali wano, you know, abana bamwe bakulidde wano balenzi bagenda ne basoma, you don't know bichi bakola, you don't know how they're dealing out there. Tumanyi ba police bamejaga mami akana kange kana Uganda kankaleke, you know. So I don't know, like, what advice would you guys give to parents to talk to their children about being profiled, racism? How did you guys deal? You know, I must say, ironically, it's a little bit easier for women. a little bit. You know, living here, we're not as mama. There's some women also who've gone through their own issues. So it's a tough subject.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Are you going to go first?
I was waiting for you, but so you want me to go first?
I can go first.
You can go first.
Can you sing?
Can you sing?
Yeah, it's a tough subject.
I mean, it's definitely a tough subject, but you know, being black in America, or being an African in America, you can't escape that. You're gonna get stereotyped. You're gonna get profiled. You're gonna face straight up racism. Uganda could be facing anywhere in anything you do. And I have faced it Momirimu, I have faced it in school, I have faced it, you know, in just the other organizations. Like I play in Zanyo Mupira, so Mupira na go college soccer, academy soccer, Arizona teams, and I was facing it on a daily basis. But just to give a quick example of where I faced it, where it affected me the most. For me, like, I don't take it personally. I use it as motivation. Like, that's fuel for me. Okay, yes. You think of me this way, let me show you that I can be better than that, or so it drives me. So I don't take it like in a negative way. But for examples, where I faced it the most, first in the workplace. After I graduated high school, I was a model for Abercrombie & Fitch.
Mama, so we're learning things. Yeah? Our doctor was a model.
I was a model for Abercrombie & Fitch. Surprisingly, they hired me. It was the only job. Surprisingly? Actually. It is surprising they hired me because I was the only black person on staff. So you know, it was the only job that hired me after applying to like 10 jobs. I just needed something. So they hired me. They gave me a job. I took the job, and then, you know, being there, I faced racism and profiling on a daily basis. You know, even my own coworkers, you know, katinga store closing at night time. They would run around looking, where's Kennedy, making sure I didn't steal anything. You know, abalala dugavu webajanga mu store nze yali security guard.
Oh my God.
They gotta keep an eye on them. You know, I'm like, I'm black myself. I need to keep an eye on them. You know, so things like that. And that's my manager was okay with it. She was almost like oblivious to me being black. She was like, oh yeah, keep an eye on those people. You know, they're going into the feeding rooms, like, oh yeah, make sure how many things they have. Make sure when they come out, they still have the same things. I'm like, Jesus, you know. So that's one of the reasons why watching and quitting and never go mulimu. I was facing racism and seeing it and living it on a daily basis. But in school, another quick where it affected me the most was when I'm going through my internships, you know, of school. Now I've done all my curriculum in the clinical rotations there, or becoming a physical therapist for home care. And I was in Maine. You know, we all know Maine is like 90% white and 10% black. Mm-hmm. So in Maine, in the middle of nowhere, my first day of internship, to a clinical instructor wange who was also white. So we're going to this gentleman's home. On our way there, the clinical instructor makes a comment. She's like, "Do you like guns?" And then I'm like,
"What?"
She's like, "It was random." She makes a comment. She's like, "We're driving there." She's like, "Do you like guns?" I'm like, "No, I don't really like guns. I'm not a fan. But if someone has it, all power to them. You know, that's their thing." So she mentions it. She's like, "Well, the person we're going to, aina guns in Yinjinyo. They have a lot of guns." So I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking about that. It's an hour drive. We're driving there. We're going to this person's home, and then we show up. It's my first day, mind you. It's my first day of this clinical, rotation. We show up to their, to their house. I see the guy in the window. He's looking out. He sees me in the passenger seat, and then he comes out with a gun. and then I get out of the car. My clinical instructor gets out of the car. I'm like, maybe he just came from hunting, because people in Maine, they hunt, Bagaranyoko hunting. So he comes out, he has a gun, and my clinical instructor is right next to me. He points to me, he's like, I don't like his kind on my property. So to me, like, I froze, He's pointing at me, he's eyeing a gun, he's holding a gun, he's like, I don't like his kind on my property, So I freeze up, I'm like, I'm dead, I'm done, and like, phone itekola, we're in the middle of nowhere, phone itekola, I have no network, so I'm like, I'm done, I'm dead, And then my clinical instructor is like, okay, get back in the car. So I get back in the car, I'm thinking she's gonna quickly talk to him or we're gonna bounce to get like vow. No, she's in there for an hour. She goes and treats this guy, more treatment for an hour. I'm in the car, my phone doesn't work. So all I did was, I wrote I like to journal. So I made a journal for myself. I'm like, I wrote the journal, but I was directing towards my mom, because that's my inspiration. I'm like, Mom, I'm here at this location. Guy, I have video, tanjaga day, like, I'm getting, just in case I die, she can, she can have something to read. Like, okay, here.
I love you.
Yeah, so I left a memo for myself, but that's where it has affected me most. Kugurio Murimu. Clinical rotation. So
yeah,
yes, we face it in different ways.
Yeah.
I think racial profiling, I feel like all that is true. Like we're going through that, and we're still going through it. Names and I feel like the other race, the white race, I'll just say it. Like, I feel like they've done a good job of blackmailing us. Like, in fact, from the colonial era, again, history, because I think history, that's another topic. From the colonial era, okubanti batugamba, we're not good enough. Black is not good. Nogende waka abantu, like, they're not proud to be black. Bagala, tweyerusa, tuwelemo white. So I feel like where leadership profiling is there and everything, and here where we are, it's even there. But I feel like they've done a good job of brainwashing us, like of making us feel like we are not good enough. And with that, their stereotypes are built. Like never building a kwecho. I say years of brainwashing, we end up actually believing until we are not, until it's actually good enough. But yeah, so I think for racial profiling, that's what I was gonna say.
So I would say, you know, the best thing is just to love being Ugandan,
Sure.
because at least a sense of belonging, you know, it helps you know to deal with they're going through a lot. And majority of us to be together to munsiza fe nga nafe tudduka bizibu byaffe nojja onoonya sente, you know, and the last thing you want to deal with is ate bizibu by'abaddugavu nabo abali wano. So
yeah, exactly.
My advice anyways would be something that's helped me is just to remember where I come from, you know, remember who I am and know that nze siri mun America, I'm a Ugandan, you know. Nina ne culture, nina jenva n'abantu banga banjagala, so that gives me comfort, and you know it just helps you go through that day. So and n'abalala ate bw'obalaga nti oyina gy'ova muyina ne culture yammwe, they get intrigued, you know, because they don't see you as a typical Black American. Bakulabanga omuntu ali foreign and they want to know your culture. Bana bazungu baganya okwemanyisa, so you know chovala bajja ne munsi zaffe. Na ye, so with keeping proud, being proud of where you come from and who you are, we're going to go into African pride.
Yes.
You know,
a
long-awaited
Africans. Let's go to
you know, let's go to the African pride. You know, because this is what keeps us moving, so it keeps us going. This is what really even brought us all together here right now and joining us to you, and in hopes that you join us as well on this march for unity, inspiration, and empowering one another as Bana Uganda. So, with that being said, do you relate more as an African or an American? Banag. Well, actually, I'm Ugandan first, then African. So,
yeah, I would say I relate more as an African, Ugandan first, then African. Yeah, I took a trip back home for 6 months. And I enjoyed being back home. Like, I enjoyed the culture. I enjoyed walking on the street. Wali and Koko, Waliyo and Nyama, like Muchomo, everywhere. You know, like, I enjoyed that. And when I was home for 6 months, I didn't even want to come back. So, but I'm here because I'm preparing for the future. God knows, maybe Maso, Njakudaye Waka. Nenga, I do identify myself Ugandan first, African. That's my identity.
This is interesting.
Are you American?
I've been doing a lot of like mindfulness and being alive and being aware. I identify more as a human being first. I'm a human being. I'm a male, and then my African heritage, of course, my Ugandan Mucharo Jebanza. That's where I start. You know, Mucharo Jebanza. Because like you, I took a trip back home. And I saw some of the characters in me now, and I'm like, they were developed there, you know, they were initiated there. Yeah. So I feel like, you know, I can't lose touch of that. And now, like, I enjoyed being back home so much. Before, like, I was like, I'm not gonna do business in Uganda, Kubanga. But there's no transparency, there's no honesty. Like, after coming back from there, I'm like, I'm doing all the business in Uganda, you know, I'm not going to let anything stop me. So I definitely identify as, you know, being human, being Ugandan, being African, and then now African American because I'm a citizen and, you know, I can't, you know, just not pay respect or, you know, give respect to the country that has allowed me to be the individual I am. So I have to, you know, bring it to that too.
Yeah. So, well, at least one thing we do have in common, Fina, we're Ugandans. And we're, on that note, we're going to go on a quick break. Once again, it's Ugandan Millennials Worldwide, and we're here loving our heritage. Stay tuned, Bambi. Tamugenda, musigale. Tukomao. Just be patient. Kale.
Mwana wange tozanyisa kalamu wesubi lyange fizi bwenzitola.
Uganda Boston Community Association, ekibiina ekigatta bannayuganda bonna mu Boston, Massachusetts, nga kigezaako okutuukiriza ebigendererwa byakyo eby'okuyamba buli munnayuganda okubeera mu bulamu obulungi ku mawanga. Bategese olunaku lw'ebyenjigiriza olutuumiddwa Education Forum for Parents and Children. Abazadde mwenna muyitibwa n'abaana bammwe nga 17 Februari 2019 okuva ku ssaawa 9 ez'olweggulo okutuukira ddala essaawa 2 ez'akawungeezi ku Africano namba 73B Main Street e Waltham. Muzadde munnange, jangu tukubaganye ebirowoozo ku ngeri gye tuyinza okutangiramu abaana baffe okunywa awamu n'okukozesa ebiragalalagala. Ebizibu abazadde bye basanga nga baagala okutwala abaana baabwe mu kolegi era binogeddwa bitya eddagala. Kalicha ya Amerika n'eya Uganda ozigassa otya okulaba nga obulamu bugenda mu maaso. Tosubwa emikisa gy'omwana wo okwefunira scholarship. Wajja kubeerawo aboogezi ab'enjawulo nga bano baakuguka mu kuyamba abantu. Omusomo guno gwa bwereere. Muzadde munnange, jangu tuyamba abaana baffe ng'obudde tebunnaba kuyita. Anti bagamba okugema kusinga okuwonya. Ate luno lwoya lwa mu nnyindo anti olujja wekka. Kale twebereremu ku lwa community yaffe ku Sunday nga 17 Februari ku Africano namba 73B Main Street e Waltham saa 9 paka ku saa 2. Okumanya ebisingawo essimu eri 781 298 1545 oba 508 468 4 Uganda Boston Community Association, ekibiina kyo ku lwa community n'enkulaakulana.
Oba musawo olibera loya, oba olina musambi wa kabina wange, soma tozanyisa kalamu, soma wesuubi lyange, soma fiizi bwenzitola.
The one-stop shop for all your audio and video production.
For anyone who's just joining us right now, thank you so much. Once again, this is Ugandan Millennials Worldwide. Thank you for being patient with us as we took a quick minute break. We went through some comments and I wanted to, Vivian Babazi, Mukwano, thank you so much for your comment. I just wanted to touch Kumanga. Mani, these are problems of being in this country, eh? You spend about 10 hours of your day speaking English, and you go home and your Luganda is probably an hour, So you find yourself speaking English more than Luganda. Naye twagala kwogera Luganda and practice makes perfect. So maybe Tomanya in a few years, the next show will all be just mainly Luganda, because we do love our language and that is our goal. Naye, since this is where we're at right now, it's the Luganda English, Mukwano, it's the new generation.
Yeah.
Naye, we're work in progress, we're working on it.
Yeah, maybe nature, like we're trying to reach out a bigger audience,
yes.
We have an audience really mixed with abana bazaliddwa wano abatamanyi Luganda bulungi, so we have to speak English for them. Ate n'abantu abali ewaka batulaba, we have to speak Luganda. So the audience, we're serving people, we're serving our community, so we have to cater to the community and what the audience we're trying to reach. So
yeah. So we were still talking about our African pride, our Ugandan pride, and one of the things we wanted to discuss was like, you know, what makes us different. Things like Mpisa, you know, it differentiates us from, let's say, Western Africa to Eastern Africa, you know, and that's something that's big here because we are soft-spoken. So abazungu, oluzungu rafe usually lulungi, twogera bulungi, you know, sa, madam, tusama abantu ebitibwa, and that's really the upbringing that our bazade bafe je batukuza nabo, nayo, you know. And that's one thing for me I will say I appreciate about my culture is that respect for abakulu.
For elders, yes.
Abakulu kubanga wana men sometimes ganenda bobwana ngaboga ne bazadde bwawe. Child. Buli anganyaka kubolo yi kaga nti gundi gwedama amagezi, you know. And you know, these are things we just appreciate from being Ugandan. It's that respect, you know. We respect our elders, and that differentiates us, you know, from a whole different other race. So I would say, like, one thing I still do, and sometimes, you know, it's a debate between my girlfriends. Chafukamira, you know. You can find me at my work office. Nendaba uncle, auntie, Naja Nambuza. I'm dropping on my knees, best believe it. Wado muzungu, aliwali, katiolaba. You know? I could be in a club, I'm dropping on my knees, because that's respect for me, you know. I feel like it's something that oli yebuzo onwacha afuka midday. Then I could be like, mnange mu culture yange ngo Muganda, omuchalo Muganda, tufukamina nga tubuza abantu abakulu. But you know, it's all preference, I think, you know, what culture and what's important to you, you know.
Yeah. So just to take off on that, like, it's okay okufukamira out of respect, it's fine. Neyenze, I feel like there's places where okufukamira is not necessary. Like mu club, I don't know to myself. Oh my God. I do not respect elders. And omuntu asobola okufukamira still nakuyisamu amaaso.
This is true.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think, yes, kneeling is a cultural thing. It's part of our heritage. It's fine. However, there are some places where, like, walabagundi, poste agenda, like there was some gathering in another state, kabaka we agenda, and then omwami omsajja Dubai, yeah, omsajja nafukamira nabuza kabaka, and people are like, huh? Like looking around, omsajja nafukamira nabuza kabaka, and culture is all fine. It makes us who we are. Nay, I feel like there are places where you know.
Yeah, I can make a quick point on
you
that. You know,
yeah.
Me, you know, being in the health field, you know, because never day Uganda kati, you know, umanyi batu kuzango risengalo. It's part of our heritage. Or risengalo. So twade like on waliwe mikoro chikasha fe we tukola like olusoko mwako kumanyigana, where we all the family members come together to know them, to reunite. So, and then they served food and everybody's busy eating with their hands. And I'm in the health field, I'm like, I didn't see anybody wash their hands. I didn't see water being, you know, given. So, like, I'm like, I can't use my hands, you know. And also the act of using my hands, like, for almost 20 years, I feel like like, the fork is easier for me to eat. So I was asking for the fork to use the fork to eat food. And everybody's looking, oh, he's trying to look more like American, or he's trying to look Western. But that wasn't the point. The point was like, so I got a kurala. First of all, you know, no washed hands, and also, like, I feel more comfortable using a fork, you know.
Yeah.
So those things, I think, is more about that judgment.
Yeah, I feel like no building on culture and Mpisa. Never, like, both cultures, we can learn from each other. Yes. Like okubera in this culture, twize how to speak up, twize how to interact with people, to communicate and build those communication skills. Ne, I also think that back home, culture yewaka eyokuberanga olimusirise. Wobera omusirise, you get to observe a lot. You get to be polite. You know, you're more like introverted, but you get to learn. I'm not saying I will get a new tebaiga. Say you get to observe more and you get to reflect more, like you're more inner. So I feel like culture ya fe etwigi desire to step back, netubanga tuli more grounded. And I think that's one of the reasons. I do encourage parents, like, take your kids back home, like abazadda abali wano mutwale abandi ewaka bayige empisa z'ewaka bayige culture ewaka kubanga ekintu kye tuyize mu America teina as much culture like tebaina as much culture, you know. So onenga wogende waka omwana n'omutwale waka agenda kuyiga.
They have culture, but it's a different culture.
Yeah, okay, let's say it's different culture, but
It's a free culture.
It's a free culture.
It's made up
still culture, but
of all different cultures of immigrants.
It's a melting point.
So for me, which is fine. I think everybody's perspective is different. When I say they don't have culture, I mean like in terms of family, bali more individualized than the Kurwange. Ne wogende waka oboyiga okubanti auntie wange, mami wange. You learn how to oyigo kwagala abantu bo nobalabirira. One of those things. So
yeah, I was even you know, culture for even to binji katinga like even in the medicine world, you know, the best story I will say is, you know, tuba wano and no genda womusao first thing I'm like, oh, why you gonna me Advil, gonna me ibuprofen, oh go buy cough syrup, oh go buy this. And you know, recently again in Kampala, and I went to visit my jaja, and it's I nearly felt like I couldn't breathe. Oh my God, you know, I had just arrived. And all I was thinking about antibiotics, in Western world, antibiotics, madagala mira. Jojo nanga bichi bioliko mwala wange. Muzukulu, genda wali bakusali ufuna garlic or mire garlic or nywe, and that's it. Bananga, tunula garlic calling a gundi. City vampire, nyabo wa. You know? Nanga mamanye, you know, mwala wange. And sure enough, when I was dying, I listened, and in a matter of like 4 hours, I was okay. And she has the best joke I will say. It's like, you can't overdose. Can you overdose on garlic, honestly? No. So she's like, you can take as much garlic and you'll be healed. And so there are certain things that, obviously, given the different cultures, we shouldn't forget. And going back to what Diana was saying, taking your kids back home, these are things that they can learn, you know. Instead of mira garlic.
Yeah, with side effects, so many side effects.
You know, yeah, because with the side effect in America, unfortunately, America is it's the health business and the medicine business. It runs America, you know. Uganda manyanti, you're just a number. So we're going to be your advocate. You know, omusawo wo mubuuze bibuuzo nawe weesomere kubanga bagenda kuwa madagala buli ddagala liri on trial gwego bagenda okutryingirako, you know. So, you know, and I also not to go back and say all Western you know, eddagala lyaffe lyeka lyonna ttuufu, no immunizations, things like that. Be smart, educate yourself, and if you don't know, Bambibuza, or call us. You know, we made even direct you to someone who knows better than we know. But I really urge every Ugandan outside of Uganda or even in Uganda, be your own advocate, Mudagala. You know, and there's nothing wrong with herbal medications as long as.
I'll make you know,
doctor.
me being
doctor,
me being in the doctor, this you know is very personal to me. So I feel like a Uganda sometimes, because you know my cousin was just in Uganda. He got cancer, but you know like she said, be educated, be smart, advocate for yourself, but. You know, a Uganda body like okay, he has cancer, he's almost gonna die, but the herbal medicine we were only advocating for the herbal medicine. You know, they were only advocating him just drink or whatever it is. Yeah, but you know, me, I'm like, I know about cancer, and that is not gonna save him. That's definitely not gonna save his life. So we advocate for him to come to the U.S. and get chemotherapy, get radiation, you know, because we know those are the only form of treatments that can save a life, you know, in terms of cancer. So even to where with your waliwo nemu culture fe chintunga the witchcraft. Omuntu nalwala, but then they like, oh, genda kujajja bakubulire you know what to do. I talk with this is all personal stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Witchcraft of one
my you know, my stepbrother got like a mental, you know, a mental disability that he was dealing with, and then, you know, but the people on the ground, they're like, oh, maybe you know, genda kuba jajabani bamuyambe, and I'm like, no, mental disability is a thing, you know. All he needs is actual treatment for that specific condition. You know, so there's that, you know, those misunderstanding, and I feel like me being in the health field is just lack of awareness, lack of education, and it's just, we just need to change that narrative, and I think that we, you know, one person at a time, we can change that narrative.
For the cancer thing, and there are different types of cancers, and then there are cancers
multiple,
that respond well to like the vegetable diet and the green herbal, the herbal treatment as opposed to chemo, because there are people who have tried the chemo and it hasn't worked.
Absolutely. So what cancer is just basically your cells are overly multiplying. They're overly multiplying. Okay. So you need something that's gonna stop them from overly multiplying, or the ones that have overly multiplied, you know, get removed. Kubanga umubiri go like tebisobola kujula, or the cells, like I said, let's say brain cancer, for example. You're already in a scale, it's already full. So if those cells keep multiplying, there's no space for them to, for everything to be in there. So that's when they do brain surgery or something like that, that form of treatment to kind of, you know, get rid of the cells that is what is multiplying.
Yeah, but we do agree that for the most medical, well, some medical concerns, like herbal treatment is better. Like herbal treatment is better than
some. I would say in combination, not just talk about just the herbal treatment, but combine the two. The pharmaceutical, yes, they have their own price, but also the herbal, in combination, you can have a more optimal outcome than opposed to using one or the other.
Because, and the reason I'm insisting on this, one more thing, African pride. But,
I have to raise a comment.
But the other thing though is that, first of all, pharmaceuticals have a different agenda, right? Like, we're not even gonna go through this topic because it's a topic for another time. But I feel like the pharmaceuticals, yes, the medication or the medicines are helpful, but the pharmaceuticals behind that, they also have an agenda to make money.
Yes.
And they would make medications just to make money. Yes. That's one thing. The other thing, the natural herbs here actually are more expensive than the, you know, so that shows, I understand
they don't want the natural
in conjunction with other more advanced treatments. I get it, because in Africa we don't have like technology to process and we don't have that yet. Hopefully one day we will. I feel like herbal treatment is definitely from the African aspect. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna punch you.
No.
From that, from that, let me drive my point home.
Yes.
Right now, to the African pride Kweya Gala, right?
No
and I feel like to herbal treatments, herbal treatments like nunji, like we already know those treatments are fine because they've promoted them. Ne abantu tebali educated about herbal treatments, and I think that driving at that point forward, eddagala lyaffe ddungi jjajja bw'agenda mu lusuku n'ogamba olubuto lukuluma n'agenda n'akwata ebikoola n'abinyiga n'akuwa amazzi, like, it's good medicine. It's even better. Not only is it making you better, but it's also not giving you the side effects that the other medications would give you.
No, I totally agree 100%, and I don't want to be misunderstood. Okay. The point I'm trying to
just make sure Africa Pride
stays. Yes, for sure. But from a professional standpoint, everything I'm saying, I'm standing from a professional standpoint, not just my Ugandan, standpoint. Yeah. So point making, I'm taught as a professional to practice research-guided practices, which is being proven by research or evidence-based practice. Hold on, let me make my point. Or evidence-based practices. These are researches that have been done for years and years to find what is the golden treatment for either cancer, what's the golden treatment for mental disabilities.
Yes.
Yes, hold on.
Okay.
Me personally, I'm all for, I don't like the pharmaceutical medications. I prefer the herbal medication. But the point I'm trying to make is that we have to make sure that the message we're giving out is clear, that don't just use the herbal, Because yes, it's effective, but you can also use the pharmaceutical medication in conjunction with the herbal.
We do understand that. Before you even 1 minute. Well, when you talk about research, just because we don't have like the technology or even the equipment to do research for African medicine, it doesn't mean African medicine is not good.
That's not what I'm making. That's not the point I'm making.
Well, so you talked about research. Let me drive this point. You talked about research. The only advantage we have here, what we call our research here, is because they have equipment, the means to make that research.
Yes.
I do challenge you to those research means or whatever they have. Research
they'll find
evidence. 100% for sure.
Okay.
So,
sorry, research doesn't drive the point home.
No, but like, what I'm,
it's a heated debate here.
Let me make one point. Do you know the
running out of time?
Do you know the average life and Ugandan lives for? Do you know the average?
Again, it comes down to lack of resources and what we don't. It doesn't mean that our medicine
I agree,
is okay, good.
But the point I'm trying to make is that if we raise the awareness of our health, we can live longer. Because right now, the average age for a Ugandan to live is 45 years, which is really, really ridiculous. 45 to 50, that's the average age of an American to live. I mean, a Ugandan to live. But if we, and most of them are dying because of some illnesses that when properly treated, some...
Oh my goodness!
Okay, this is a really great topic. Excuse me. This is a really great topic. So, stay tuned for our next show. You know, we'll find time to discuss this because it's definitely heated, as you can tell.
But
passion.
We're not gonna have those
excuse me, and James William, Dr. Kennedy Taisa, Bajaja Maso, Olava, you know, we're going to touch this topic again because clearly it is very heated, it's very passionate.
I thought you on my side.
I am on all sides. I'm on all sides, you know, we're all on one team. We love one another. Remember, love one another, inspire, empower one another, okay? With that being said, and a quick announcement, everyone in the Boston area, please bring your kids to the Education Forum tomorrow, Sunday, February 17th, at 703 Main Street. It is hosted by UBCA, and the topic is drug and addictions. And this is a huge topic for our youth because in the Western world, I'm sure even in Uganda too, drugs and addictions are real. It's real, and every family needs to have this discussion because this is the present. You know, drugs and addictions are real. You know, and please bring your children and yes, sorry. So yes. Thank you for that. With that being said,
can I just say one thing?
It better not be about medicine.
A little bit, because
we can come back for another show. We can debate this.
1 minute, because you said that people are dying.
These are facts.
Yes, they are facts. However, yes, the medicine could be part of it, but also don't forget the system. Our system is not developed. Like, it doesn't mean our medications are not effective. It's the poor system. We don't have equipment. We don't have yes, it's part of it.
Let me make a quick point. I just opened up a company in Uganda, but the company is going to be more for raising awareness on health, wellness, and fitness. You know, we have this perception that health is a privilege for the rich. Fitness is a privilege for the rich. Wellness is a privilege for the rich. We need to change the narrative. It's not. Yes. It's definitely not. I know and I understand that, you know, just raising awareness and on health, wellness, and fitness, people can live longer. Just that simple fact, regardless of the organization, regardless of the government is doing, regardless of what's happening, that can save lives. Yeah, that's all the point I'm trying to make.
Okay, so that was really, I felt like...
We had to come back.
Oh my God, I'm in like a hot seat over here. I hope you felt it. I am on all sides. So for anyone joining us, again, we are Ugandan Millennials Worldwide. As you can see, we do love to have debates. Everyone, we do appreciate and respect everyone's mind and their ideas and where they are thinking, where they are at. We're all here to respect one another, listen to one another, empower one another. With that being said, our show is coming to an end. It's bittersweet.
It's bittersweet.
But we will be back next month with another great topic. Please reach out to us again. We're Ugandan Millennials Worldwide. We're on Facebook. Soon we'll be on Instagram, all social media. If you would like to join us, reach out to any one of us. Our Facebooks, again, I'm Nai Mulira.
I'm Diana Nalvega.
And I'm Dr. Kennedy Ndamba. I think we should share our social media so people can reach out to us. My Facebook is Kennedy Kalemera Ndamba. My Instagram is Dr. @Keka_Fitness. That's my Instagram.
My social media is Didi Claire. And just to put this out there, because it's on my heart, I feel like we haven't taken this point home because 1 hour is really not enough for us to dig into our love for our African heritage. So look out. Hopefully one day we're going to have the same topic and keep growing on it because we need to love ourselves. Please.
Yes. And on Facebook, I am Nai Mulira, Nai, short for Naomi. And Instagram, it's Miss Nai or Miss Bira, whichever one comes easier for you. Definitely bring us your comments. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to get your feedback, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see talked about soon. Join us. We would like to see your mind, hear anything you have to say. You never know. You may inspire us, empower us. We're all in this together, teamwork. We're hoping to touch a soul, unite each other, empower and inspire. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Musure bulungi. Have an awesome rest of your weekend. Tubagala nnyo. Mukama batukumire.
Yes, thank you.
Hugs and kisses. Thank you.
Our African heritage.
Ugandan Millennials.
African heritage. Oh yeah. Yes, definitely.
Mazakabanganga wena wepanka Nakusanga naye nga wemima Gaka message okalaba no katikinga Kasoma atebo kamala no deletinga Manze nkanya kunyweza kakodyo kange butagwamu Babuli bemanya ntoje nyongeramu naka perfume Olo ne kumitinga kubuzaako ne sekwewanyo nga naye nzera manyiti oli mu kubo ojja nga buli weembeera nkulaba nga nze gw'olojja kubanga bakuza tebakuzakuza era newe wekoza nze mama yakuza teyakuzakuza yenina byesiga Zola nonya kuberiyo bingi byenterese nonya bula obuli rugi yakuluwombo atensho lyekugi va ku mulyango epewe yitiridde oli ku bwongo bwange wetulidde naye nsaba kubuuzamu kasukali keko batongelemu otera okubibyamu oba gwoyagala kuwummulamu yotera okunywanywamu netaka gilasi tosema ze kubamadde manyiti oli mukubo ojja nkugambye ebyange bategeka babisenja kubanga bakuza tebakuzakuza era newe wekoza yadde wekozakoza nze mama yakuza Koza, yadde wekoza koza
okusoma yatuzibwa ng'ogenda muzzukulu wa Nsamba nkukutira bambi kulembeza okusoma yatuzibwa ng'ogenda muzzukulu wa Nsamba gwe mwana wange tozanyisa kalamu gwe ssuubi lyange fiizi bwe nzitola oli mundu yange omujasi wange tozanyisa kalamu fiizi bwe nzitola mwana wange soma tozanyisa biseera nange bitabo bye bintagaza tolaba nzunga singa tekwali kuyimba nalikoze ntyoba kuba guno mulemba tasomye tafuna kitiibwa kale watondebwa bulungi amasogo malungi ensingo ya biseera olowooza onooba otya bonjeze kalamu nogataka ekitiibwa guno mulembe gwa mpapula talina mpapula ebitala bimukwata n'emirimu tabbula n'abajiga baabo basosola mawangawo gwe mwana wange tozanyisa kalamu gwe ssuubi lyange fiizi bwe nzitola oli mundu yange omujasi wange tozanyisa kalamu fiizi bwe nzitola ne bwe mba nasuze bweru kumacankeera kabbira kawooma nakeresa ndabenga obuwanguzi obuleeta abo abasajja mu mabenzi bogera luzungu saba oluzungu nyweza kulembeza katonda ennyonyi tezikutiisa osobola okuzivuga I want you to win, to me you are my everything, for you I can give up my salary, pictures of you in my gallery, when you smile you bring me happiness, saba katonda nyongere biseera nange ndabe kukyona beera oba musawo bw'olibeera looya oba olina omusambi wa kabina mwana wange tozanyisa kalamu gwe ssuubi lyange fiizi bwe nzitola oli mundu yange omujasi wange tozanyisa kalamu fiizi bwe nzitola tupapira biduula obutasoma ntaana otasoma emikono gikusalawa nowewuwa kukuuma kunyoma kwe muyomba nga kusomera kalamu na kitabo eryefumu nangabo yalibeera looyawo ng'ensi ekwegamya alibeerawo kale watondebwa bulungi amasogo malungi ensingo ya biseera olowooza onooba otya bonjeze kalamu nogataka ekitiibwa guno mulembe gwa mpapula talina mpapula ebitala bimukwata